Hi there and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. Pundit admits 24-year-old Arsenal player proved him completely wrong this weekend. Robbie Musto has admitted that Arsenal's Nketiah proved him completely wrong over the weekend. Musto has been speaking on the Two Robbies podcast and discussed Nketiah's latest display for Arsenal. Nketiah netted a brilliant hat-trick on Saturday as the Gunners thrashed Sheffield United 5-0 at the Emirates Stadium. The 24-year-old produced an exceptional first touch to set up a simple finish to open the scoring in the 28th minute. The Englishman then doubled Arsenal's advantage at the start of the second half as he latched on to a loose ball in the area and smashed it into the top corner. His third was arguably the most impressive of the lot as he unleashed a powerful effort from the edge of the box, and after an exceptional performance from the high-end academy product, Robbie has admitted he was calling for Mikel Arteta to drop the striker beforehand. Speaking on the Two Robbies, Musto admitted that he wanted to see Trossard lead the line for Arsenal on Saturday. He said, "It was perfect. Given the opponent, I think Mikel Arteta got it absolutely right. It was a brilliant 5-0 victory. Adding Nketiah, there is something about a striker where I say something stupid like, yeah, I'd love to see Trossard play as the number 9. Of course, Nketiah is selected after I say this and he bangs in a hat-trick that's typical and par for the course. I do like Nketiah. I just love the craft of Leandro Trossard." Nketiah has received plenty of criticism over the past few weeks as he had struggled to find the back of the net for Arsenal. The striker had managed just 2 goals in 9 Premier League appearances, and Mika Richards feels Nketiah answered his critics on Saturday. The Gunners were without Gabriel Jesus over the weekend after the Brazil star picked up an injury in the 2-1 win at Sevilla. But Nketiah has once again proven he is capable of stepping up in his absence, and he will be hoping the hat-trick helps to kickstart his season. Arsene Wenger admits he is a big fan of 25-year-old Arsenal player Arteta isn't picking right now. Arsenal legend Arsene Wenger has admitted that he is a fan of goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale. Wenger was speaking on beIN Sports and reflecting on Arsenal's 5-0 demolition of Sheffield United. However, even when the ball barely enters Arsenal's half, the goalkeeping situation is still a topic of conversation. Mikel Arteta made several changes, giving French players like Smith Rowe and Jakub Kiwior much-needed starts. He didn't feel the need to replace David Raya with Aaron Ramsdale despite his promise to rotate the two goalkeepers this season. The Spaniard's confidence might have been shaken after his performances against Chelsea and Sevilla, so starting him does make sense. Unfortunately for Ramsdale, it means that he is likely now relying on Carabao Cup matches for his minutes. Wenger has shared that he really likes Ramsdale and thinks he's still got a chance of breaking back into the Arsenal team this season. He is doing all the right things behind the scenes right now. A good performance against West Ham would give Arteta something to think about, although he looks pretty set in his ways right now. Speaking about the England international, Wenger said, "Personally, I like Aaron Ramsdale. If I was in his position, I would not give up because I believe he has a chance to get back into the team." Richard Keys then asks him if he thinks he is better than David Raya, and he says, "Better? I don't know if he is better. I just think that Ramsdale has made decisive saves in games last season. They were not happy, maybe with his feet, his distribution. The most important thing is to stop balls from going into goals. On the other hand, when you are in this position, it happened to me many times, you have a good team, but you want to improve the team. Then you look, what can I improve? Maybe the distribution from the back. It happened to me with center backs sometimes. I don't believe in rotation of goalkeepers. I don't believe this lack of clarity of the hierarchy. It doesn't work. The hierarchy has to be clear." Jamie O'Hara believes Mikel Arteta keeps playing 24-year-old Arsenal man out of position. Pundit Jamie O'Hara has claimed that Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta keeps playing Kai Havertz out of position because he doesn't know what his best role is. O'Hara was speaking to Gabi Agbollahor on TalkSport after Arsenal defeated Sheffield United 5-0 in the Premier League. Emile Smith-Rowe was handed a very rare league start with Jakub Kivior given the nod alongside William Saliba at the back. Another player who had been out of the team recently in the league but was in the side was Kai Havertz. The 24-year-old was in midfield alongside Smith Rowe and Declan Rice in a game the Gunners completely dominated. However, Jamie O'Hara doesn't believe Mikel Arteta knows the best position for Havertz in the team right now. He is not returning goals and assists, although in his deeper role, that's not a great metric to judge him on. It's hard to know right now if Arteta is getting the best out of the German international or if he should be playing in a more advanced role. Speaking about the £65 million summer signing, Agbollahor said, Kai Havertz, he didn't do much, he's got to improve. He is not a 10, he is not a striker. Ohara added, I don't think anyone knows. I think people have been trying to figure it out. Chelsea fans, they had him there for how many seasons? 3 seasons, and they didn't know what his best position was. Arteta seems to think he is an 8. I don't think he is an 8, but they are trying to find something where he fits because he has got talent, he has got ability. The fact that Arteta might not have figured out the best position for Havertz yet may explain why he is in and out of the team currently. The Spaniard hinted he could have started Havertz up front, but will be very glad he ended up going with Nketiah. His experience in the Champions League played a factor in him joining the club, but his place in the side in that competition isn't guaranteed either. Arteta needs to quickly figure out what he is going to do with the German international to avoid the pressure building up on him to succeed. 20-year-old Arsenal man is sending statement to Mikel Arteta during current loan spell. Arsenal loanee Charlie Patino has continued his very impressive form for Swansea City this weekend in a brilliant victory over Blackburn Rovers. Patino played 72 minutes in the 1-0 win at Ewood Park and continued to show his rich potential. Just turned 20 years old, Patino will now be hoping that his Swansea form is catching the eye of all at Arsenal, and in his minutes, Patino was able to produce some impressive numbers. Via SofaScore, Patino had 53 touches, made 1 assist and won 7 duels overall. The midfielder sat alongside Matt Grimes in Swansea's midfield and is making a real impression. Of course, it will still be a big challenge for Patino to make the step up to Arsenal's first team when he returns from his loan. It was previously reported that Mikel Arteta and Arsenal were willing to let Patino leave permanently in the summer. However, that changed when Arsenal agreed to loan Patino to Swansea for the season, a situation that will then be reassessed. But whether it's at Arsenal or not, the England Youth International clearly has a very exciting future ahead. When looking at Patino's skill set at Swansea this season, it's easy to imagine his position in the Arsenal midfield. The number 8 role, often now occupied by Declan Rice or Kai Havertz, could suit the youngster perfectly. Also, the names mentioned do delineate the challenge quite well. Emile Smith-Rowe enjoyed a rare start in the Premier League, and he is in a much stronger position than Patino. However, all Patino can do is continue to impress at Swansea City and then just assess his situation at Arsenal upon his return. Arsenal fans following Patino's progress this season will be very excited to see just how much his game can improve. Fabrizio Romano has now rubbished recent Arsenal transfer rumour. Fabrizio Romano has now quashed any reports linking Arsenal with a move for Real Madrid midfielder Aurelien Tchouameni in the near future. Romano was speaking on the daily briefing via Count Offside and said that any reports were pure speculation. The journalist thought that any rumors were simply born out of an injury to Thomas Partey last week. Romano said, Thomas Partey's recent injury is a blow for Arsenal, and we are perhaps unsurprisingly seeing some stories come up as a result of this, with links to new midfielders who could perhaps replace Partey. Still, my understanding for now is that Arsenal have not decided anything yet about a new midfielder, and there is nothing to the links with Aurelien Tchouameni. No talks, no proposals, or anything like that. Of course, Romano's update may be a slight disappointment to some Arsenal fans who may have been excited by the prospect of Tchouameni at the Emirates. Mikel Arteta's project is taking such a trajectory that it wouldn't be a surprise if the club were able to attract such a name. Although he is injured right now, it will certainly be interesting to see the role that Thomas Partey plays when he returns. The midfielder has reportedly been unhappy with the amount of game time he received in between his recent injuries, but his fresh issue may be a good indicator as to why Arsenal were reluctant to start Partey immediately upon his return. Of course, it has now got to the point with Partey's injuries that some Arsenal fans would like to see the £45 million midfielder replaced. Partey has been excellent whilst on the pitch for Arsenal, but has simply missed far too many games owing to injury, and that explains why some Arsenal fans will be frustrated that Romano has quashed any links to Tchouameni. Perhaps the next phase of Arteta's project will be finding fresh legs to replace the likes of Jorginho and Partey. Aston Villa make decision on the future of 25-year-old amid Arsenal transfer links. Aston Villa are hoping to agree on a new contract with midfielder Douglas Luiz. A report from Football Insiders claims that the West Midlands club are now looking to open contract talks with the midfielder in the new year. The 25-year-old has been outstanding for Aston Villa this season, and the clubs like Arsenal are thought to be keen on signing him. His current contract expires in June 2026, and Aston Villa are hoping to tie him down to a long-term deal. They have already agreed new contracts with players like Ollie Watkins and John McGinn in recent months. Unai Emery is looking to keep his best players at the club, and Luiz is certainly one of the best midfielders in the league. Arsenal needs someone to replace Thomas Partey if he moves on, and Luiz would be a superb alternative. It will be interesting to see if the 25-year-old is ready to commit his long-term future to Aston Villa. The opportunity to join big clubs like Arsenal can be quite tempting, and the Brazilian could be attracted by the idea of playing for them in the Champions League. Aston Villa are currently competing in Europe, and they are hoping to put together a side capable of competing in the UEFA Champions League as well. It will be interesting to see if they can hold on to their best players and push for a top 4 finish this season. Douglas Luiz is entering his peak, and holding on to the player during his best years would be a major boost for Aston Villa. Chelsea could sanction 22-year-old's departure in January. Arsenal keen. Chelsea winger Mykhailo Mudryk has been linked with a move away from the club in recent weeks. A report from Vigaches, which is a very weak source, claims that Chelsea are now considering his future at the club, and they could look to sanction his departure when the transfer window reopens in January. The 22-year-old has not been able to live up to the expectations since his €100 million move to Stamford Bridge, and Chelsea could look to loan him out during the second half of the campaign so that he can play regularly and regain his form and confidence. The Ukrainian international was regarded as a world-class talent when he joined Chelsea, but he has struggled to adapt to English football, and he has not been able to showcase his qualities on a consistent basis. The report further states that selling Mudryk permanently is also an option for Chelsea, and they are currently evaluating his future. Apparently, Juventus and Arsenal have emerged as the main interested parties in the 22-year-old winger. Arsenal tried to sign the player before he joined Chelsea, and it will be interesting to see if the Gunners decide to resurrect their interest in the player. Mikel Arteta has had to overuse the likes of Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli since last season. Signing a quality winger would allow him to rotate his players and keep them fresh for the big games. It will be interesting to see if Arsenal come forward with a concrete proposal to sign Modric in January and whether Chelsea are prepared to deal with a direct rival. Modric will be desperate to prove himself at Stamford Bridge, and it remains to be seen how his situation develops in the coming months. As we wrap up today's Arsenal news, remember to stay tuned for daily updates right here on the channel. Don't miss out on the latest updates, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you found this information valuable. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.